me share with you how this worked in my life. I grew up on the south side of Chicago, like a lot of us in this room have, and during my growing up, it was the #1 underage binge drinking community in the United States. Now, that was the culture that I grew up in. Culture's neither good or bad. Culture just is. Culture means this is the way we do things here. And that was the culture that I was brought up in. So I, started drinking at an early age. Along came with drinking was drugs. Everybody was doing it, so you did it. And that's kind of where I was at. All through high school, all through college, into my early 20s. And I just had enough. I had to change my belief system. So I'm happy to tell you that on January 3rd, 2014 of this year, I celebrated my 10th year alcohol-free, drug-free. So my life started going like this after I did that. Became a business owner, was running, working with my family. Our businesses were like this. Kept going up, kept going up, kept going up. And then my excuses started to happen. My reasons started to happen. The economy, it knocked out 30% of our business. To us, that was $700,000 a year we were losing. And so Einstein also has a quote. He says, adversity introduces a man to himself. That's a good quote for some of us in this room. Adversity introduces a man to himself. And so it was during that time that I was pondering, when we succeed in life, we party. And when we fail, we ponder. When we succeed in life, we party. And when we fail, we ponder. So I started pondering what it is that I'm designed to do here on planet Earth. And I remember as a young boy, my parents would take me to things like this. And I always remember seeing the speakers up on stage. Man, they were awesome. Making people laugh, making people cry, adding value to people, serving people. And I thought to myself, man, it'd be cool to do that one day. So the only thing that I really started with was this. I believed I could do it. So I started joining things like Toastmasters. Anybody heard of Toastmasters? If you're interested in sales or you're interested in becoming a better person, I would recommend Toastmasters to every person because it's the only opportunity that you can stand there in front of other quality speakers, give a 7 to 10 minute presentation for absolutely free, and they can give you feedback on what you look like. And if you're in sales, you know that 94% of communication is nonverbal. It's not what you say, it's how you look when you're saying it. And so I joined Toastmasters. Another thing that I did was I joined this thing called the Black Star Project, where I would go into the inner city schools and I would speak to the kids and mentor them and motivate them to get their high school diplomas, and that's where I started. So I believed in myself. I knew I had the God-given potential because of my belief system, and I started taking action every single day, and the only result that I was getting was the inner satisfaction and the fulfillment from helping other people. That's where I started. And then I got the phone call, one of the best phone calls of my entire life. This phone call, this principal from a school, they said, hey, we heard what you're doing in the inner city. Would you mind coming to speak to our seniors on the topic of leadership? And then she said, we'll pay you $100. And I was like, wow, $100. And I'm not even kidding. Why was that the best check I ever received in the speaking business? What did that do for me? It motivated me. I got my first financial result. It reinforced this, and this decided to grow. I started tapping into more of my potential. I started taking more action. I built a website. I put together a marketing plan. I hired the best coach on planet Earth when it came to youth motivational speaking, and he's my friend now. And I started getting more gigs, 400, 500. Now if a high school wants me to speak, they have to pay me $4,000 for the hour. But I didn't start there. Then I got the second phone call of a lifetime. standing in my bedroom on a Saturday morning in my underwear. The Cincinnati Bengals called me up. And they said, hey, we heard what you're doing in Chicago, and we think it's great, and we're coming to play the Bears. Could you give our team the pregame speech? And I was like, let me put you on hold here for a second. I'm a Bears fan. I actually didn't put them on hold. I said absolutely 100%. I drove down to the JW Marriott Saturday night before opening day at Soldier Field, and I stood before everybody that was on my fantasy football team. And I was going to deliver a speech to them about how they should beat my beloved Chicago Bears. And for everybody that knows me, you know that I bleed blue and orange. I mean, I love my Bears. So I'm happy to tell you that I did my job and the Bengals lost that game. Give me a hand for that. And then it was 3 months after that where I was doing a gig out in Salt Lake City, and one of Tony Robbins' recruiters saw me there. And he said, hey, we want you to be part of our team. And so I got to be one of Tony Robbins' corporate trainers, traveling all the United States for the past year, delivering workshops on his behalf, similar to what I'm doing now. And I didn't start with anything but this. So what I want you to do right now, this is my favorite part of my presentation. I want you to go back to where it says the life balance wheel. And you're only going to go there for a second, so hold your page. I want you to cross off every reason that you put on that sheet. Cross it off. And then what I want you to do is I want you to go to the page that says empowering beliefs. And I want you to write down your new beliefs. I want you to write down what it is that you believe about yourself now. And if you change those beliefs, what would that mean for you financially? If I changed my beliefs and said, I'm no longer afraid, I'm going to have the discipline, what does that mean for you? Does it mean an increase in production? Does it mean an increase in revenue? And if it does, write that down. Write down, my production would increase 30%, 50%, 100% if I didn't suffer from fear. My production would increase 30%, 50%, 100% if I was more consistent and I was disciplined. Write down your percentage, and then I want you to write down right next to it what that means for you financially. So some people, 50% production might be $50,000. Some people might be 100% production might be $100,000. Whatever it is for you, your percentage and that financial goal, right underneath that, I want you to start writing what that means for you and your family. What does it mean for you and your family? If I made $100,000 more a year, what would that mean for my family? Can I get a little workshop music, Carl? So, I make $100,000. Do I have less stress? Can my wife come home from work? Am I still going to live in the same house? Am I going to still drive the same car? Maybe some of you aren't moved by material things, so making $100,000 to you might be giving more to your church or giving more to your favorite orphanage or digging wells in Africa. I don't know what it is for you, but write down what your new beliefs are. Write down what your percentage would increase. Write down what that means for you financially, and then write down everything that happens because of that. Go. We're going to take 2 minutes to do this.